I love being taken literally sometimes. That was a good one. Badger, welcome. Hey, hi, or hello. Yes, hey, hi, or hello to you as well. I love it. Took me literally. I got what I asked for, so that's good. Archie, welcome. Oh, my stream deck has been causing me. That's why I'm a minute late, which is really really late for me. So that's not good. Whew. When you're me, engineer type, and you're late by a minute, that's a tragedy in the engineer world. I'm getting better about that though. All right. Archie, it is. I'll give you my weather report. I've actually got my shade mostly down, but I believe it was well. Actually, I can look at my phone. According to my phone, current conditions 83 degrees and sunny. That will be, according to my iPhone weather app, that will be the high temperature for today. So quite lovely out there. I've been doing yard work most of the afternoon, so I'm a little hot. It's like, I think this is probably my hottest day of the year, so I will take it. Let's see. David, welcome. I think that volume got turned down again. All right. We've also got Lo is here. And James, my contributor for the week, is also here. And if I call you Jim, hopefully, I don't know. I think your email you signed with Jim. Hopefully I can call you Jim. James seems very formal. If you prefer formal, I will go with James. But and Archie, nice thumbnail of ATL. Well, thank you. That was actually, I think that was from my last visit there. I've been trying to think of how long it's been since I've actually hung out in Atlanta with Matt, and I gosh, it's got to be probably 4 years. I've been doing lots of travel, but not to Atlanta. So James says yes, Jim. Excellent. We'll go with Jim. I worked with, once upon a time I worked with the James, and he was very very much James, and so anyway, so I have just a need to get that right. So we'll go with Jim. Excellent. I like that. I am John. Yes. I can't say the only. Typically, my wife does use my full name, Jonathan. And when I was a kid, I think the only times I heard my full name, Jonathan, is typically when it was used in conjunction with my middle name because I was getting in trouble for something. But yeah, and my wife does call me by my full name from time to time as well. So yeah, I will go with either, but most people in the world go with John. So all right. So nice thumbnail of ATL. I've been working with Matt. He and I are going to do a private test stream coming up on Monday. And based on his schedule, I think I'm going to be, hopefully, we'll see how it goes. This is just a kind of YouTube live stream thing, so hopefully we can get him in next Thursday night. That's my hope, my desire. Yeah. So I'm hoping that will work out. I was hoping I could get him in tonight just to be in chat and see what this streaming thing is all about, but he had other plans this evening, which is great. I have no issue with that. This, like I said, this is just kind of this is part of the growth community. I must tell you, I really appreciate you guys showing up. These are a lot of fun. I as a full-fledged introvert, I didn't think I would really enjoy this whole process. But it's a lot of fun. So yeah. As of right now, my plan for Mondays and Thursdays is to basically do the same thing. Next Thursday with a guest. I'll probably do more guest interview than not. If Matt enjoys the guest spot, I would love to have him in maybe once a month. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know if he would be interested in such things. Yeah. So, like I said, I'm way over in the West and he's way down in Atlanta. So, it's not like I can just walk across the street and poke him in the ribs and say, go get to your computer. So, but yeah, so let us begin. Archie says, I enjoy these as well. Well, thank you. It's a lot of fun. One of the it's funny. I think I've mentioned in the past, I was an engineering manager for, well, not my entire career, but for basically the last half of it, my corporate career. And you build a team, and in a lot of ways, you guys feel like my team these days, which is kind of cool. So, since I don't have the day-to-day interaction with my work team, I get a couple times a week interaction with my fun team. You're my fun team, by the way. So, fun. All right. Well, I am going to begin where we always begin. And it's interesting because when I do the morning stream, the weather has not popped up yet. And yeah, so the delays are, not that prevalent per se. You can see the history, of course. But now that it's actually afternoon where I'm at, even though I said I think it's chat after dark. Chat after dark. Anyway, it's not really dark here. It's summertime in Idaho, and it doesn't get dark here at this time of year till like 9. So, I mean, it's very much twilight. The sun is up here-ish, if that makes any sense. Yeah. So let us go to. I have to switch views. Where am I going? I'm going to this one. Yeah, that's it. That's the ticket. All right. So at this time of day, David says very dark here. Let's see. It's 6 here, and I don't know if you're on summertime yet. So you're looking at 6, and is it 6 hours? So midnight in the UK. Very dark there. And Badger, another hour until sundown. You're in the mid, if I remember correctly. Based on Badger, makes me think Wisconsin, but since I lived in Wisconsin for a little while. Anyway, the misery map from FlightAware. Chat after dark sounds very adult. Well, that's kind of what I was going for. Oh, 1 a.m. All right, David says. Very late. Wind in the willows. Very nice. Yeah. I'm as I said, I'm hot and parched from yard work, so excuse me if I drink a lot here. Make sure my logo is on the back side so you can't see what my former workplace is on the front. Mr. Badger, excuse me. All right, misery map. Denver is the clear winner. A little travel advice if you're traveling domestically in the United States in the summertime. I was given this advice many years ago. Denver, Dallas, and Houston typically get a lot of pop-up thunderstorms in the summertime. So I have been delayed in Denver, a couple different times. One of the times I was coming back to Boise, connecting in Salt Lake City. One of the times we were delayed, I think 2 hours due to lightning, so they had to close the ramp. And that was one of the nights I got to stay overnight in Salt Lake City. I probably should have called my in-laws, but it was so late that I didn't want to bother them. I didn't get to Salt Lake till like midnight. And they put me up in it was like the worst hotel I had ever stayed in. Delta put me up in. All the rooms in the nicer, like the Marriott, Spring Hill Suites, stuff like that were taken by the time I got to the help desk. I can't remember the name of the hotel. It's actually a chain hotel, but it was, the floor. It's one of those hotels that you don't actually want to sleep in the bed, but you don't really want to touch anything in the hotel either. Yeah, it was not good. Not good. Oh, Mr. Badger is a character in Wind in the Willows. See, I'm an engineer and I didn't have to take much humanities, and I'm a bad speller and stuff like that. So I apologize since I didn't catch the reference. Yeah. Spent a lot of time doing math. Anyway. Yeah. Lo says, ew. Yeah, it was, I can't remember the name of the hotel. Anyway, I don't stay there anymore. So but I stay at Marriott's because I have my status there. Anyway, Denver is getting pounded, it would appear. They have had 119 delays, and I can't see the cancellation number. Only 5 canceled, so that's good. Most flights to Atlanta, is that what it said? Oh, those are just destinations. All right. So yeah, 119 delays and 5 cancellations. And Chicago, being a big airport, has 70 delays. Doesn't look like there's weather there. Dallas is about to get busy with some weather. There's some red in there. Dallas, as well as Houston. There's a big line of storms coming your way, guys. And Atlanta, as we've discussed, doesn't take much weather, much of a problem on any of the ramps, and you're going to get delays. Miami doing some bad business today. 68 delays. Looks like mostly delays across the board. Only 14 cancellations. I think that's pretty good at this point of the day. So yeah, got that going for us, or they got that going for them, which is good. Badger, did you use your black light at the hotel? I take the philosophy it's better not to know. Yeah, I would rather not know what sort of ick is involved in the place. There's a level of deniability. Denial's not just a river in Egypt. Anyway, I kind of prefer not to know. Because if you start shining a black light around a hotel and it just fluoresces everywhere, then of course you're not gonna sleep. And yeah, so yeah, so I actually don't do that on purpose because it's just too potentially scary. All right. A lot of delays worldwide today. 21,000 total delays today. 4,600 in the US, 941 cancellations worldwide, and 107 in the United States. WestJet, lots of delays. I believe. I thought I saw. I don't have it on my article list here, but I think their pilots are either close to going on strike, or I think they're having some labor issues up there. So, yeah. So I don't know if that's the source of their delays or if it's just storms. They're burning something up in Canada. We've got high haze and some early smoke in the season, so I'm guessing it's a controlled burn, but I didn't really look that up either. So something called Tropic Air, which I don't believe I've ever heard of. Looks like they have canceled half of their flights today. That's typically not a good sign. You've got big problems if you're canceling half of your daily flights. 54 flights, so 108 total flights in a day, and they're canceling half. So China Eastern, Lion Air, China Southern, KLM. I think David mentioned on Tuesday that KLM might be having some labor issues as well. Batik Air, Aeromexico. Where's my friends? Oh, there's my friends, Wings of Body. They're way down. Only 18 cancellations today and 83 delays. What just happened? Oh, I got a new subscriber. Hey, well, welcome. I didn't see the name. Dang it. I got my little ring. Anyway, that's what that little tone means. That's a new subscriber thing. What if that was Matt? No, he's playing video games. I didn't see the name. Wonder if I can find that. Anyway, new subscriber, welcome. I'm sorry I missed your name. I can't give you. I can give you the applause. Maybe say hi in chat. You can say hi in chat, and then we'll give you another applause. Yeah, that'd be fun. All right, moving on. Airports: Jakarta, Gwangju, Calgary. So Calgary. So Calgary is a WestJet hub, I believe. So maybe there's some weather in Calgary. We'll check the weather map here in a sec. Amsterdam, if they're having labor issues there. Benito Juarez International, so that's Mexico City. Toronto, Vancouver. So there's a lot of Canadian airports up here. Denver, yeah. London Heathrow. That's a bad day. 218 delays. But because the London only has 2 runways, it does not take too much of an issue in London to really just gum up the works. So, all right, let us check the worldwide map. And there's Denver. Ooh, Las Vegas. So let's check the list first. Dublin International is experiencing arrival delays for airborne aircraft, an average of 28 minutes. Denver, all inbound flights are being held at their origin until Thursday at 7:15 p.m. Mountain Time. So inbound flights are going to be held for another hour. Wow. It's a bad day to go to Denver. That's too bad. Harry Reid, departure delays. Inbound flights delayed at their origin an average of 29 minutes due to runway in use. They were doing some runway work last time I was there for spring break. So Orlando International, we've got departure delays and inbound delays of 28 minutes. Miami, 15 to 29 minutes and decreasing. That's good. Norfolk, they're holding flights until 9 p.m. Eastern time, so that would be 7 o'clock. So that's another 40 minutes ish. Let's see. Guadalajara, Mexico City, General Mariano Escobedo. So they've all got an hour delay. It's interesting that all 3 of these Mexican airports have a 1 hour delay. It makes me wonder if they're having like a ATC problem across the country, maybe. Los Cabos, it's also Mexico. That's another hour. And Kailui is experiencing departure delays due to air traffic management. Yeah. All right. David says there are wildfires in Canada. Oh, it really seems early in the season for wildfires. When I was up there last month, it is last month now, isn't it? Gosh, when I was up there last month, everything was, coming out of winter, it looked like. Lots of snow on the prairies. There were lots of snow drifts still in place and lots of snow melt. So, yeah, WestJet definitely having a problem. Causing great sunsets here in Michigan. Oh, Badgers in Michigan. You let that one slip. So Red Sky Nights means Canada is burning then. Maple leaf, red maple leaf, right? That's really early in the season. Typically, we have what I call smoke season in August here in Boise, because everything on the West Coast, there's fires everywhere. So no matter which direction the jet stream's blowing, we get smoke. It's horrible. It's one of my least favorite times of the year. But it's very consistent. Seems like it's been doing that for as long as I can remember. So, all right, let's scroll over to. So there's Dublin, which was yellow. Doesn't really say. Just some delays. They're having awful floods in Italy. Formula One race in Imola, I think, was this weekend. They canceled it because the flooding is so bad. So just NASCAR for me. Actually, I think the NASCAR All-Star race is, a little bit of yellow there. Let's go to Asia. NASCAR All-Star race is Saturday night at North Wilkesboro, which I don't remember ever seeing a race there before. So that should be interesting. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is kind of responsible for bringing that track back to life. Wow, that's a nasty looking storm going. What's that? Is that Japan? Yeah, that's Japan, isn't it? That's nasty looking. Look at all that. That is a lot of yellow and red and orange in there. Oof. Not good. Not good. All right. Moving on. Thank you to Jim for sending me this. This is a new app called Turbly, which advertises or I don't know what it does. It says it will forecast turbulence for your flight. So my sister was here last week, and she lives in Georgia, so she was flying home, and so I checked the turbulence forecast for her flights. And you think I just started doing this kind of YouTube thing? I didn't take any pictures of the forecast. My recollection is that it said it would be turbulent. So I looked at, so she flew here to Boise to Seattle and then Seattle to Atlanta. The forecast for departure from Boise was for some light turbulence and as well as light turbulence landing in Seattle with smooth in the cruise portion of the flight and a little bit of turbulence leaving Seattle as you would expect. And then a little bit, I think, smooth throughout the rest of the flight. And so she, anecdotally, she's not really an airplane traveler person. Anecdotally, at least, she said that forecast matched her flight. So let's say, and I'm picking this just randomly. No, that's not true. I'm actually picking this because I'm thinking about booking this because there's a great fare sale, and I might make this leg number 1 of a potential epic trip. Anyway, so let's just say I'm flying from Los Angeles to Fiji. That is Nadi Airport, Nan. So let us check the forecast. Available soon. What? All right, so let's go back. Let's pick today. Oh, I gotta do it again. LAX to Fiji today, because the flight does leave at 23. So then I can click on the flight. And you get a pretty cool little graph here. And this again, as the engineer brain of me, this speaks to me. It's operated by an A350-900, which is a pretty sweet airplane. I'm a big fan of the A350. And it is it's like 11 hours in the flight. So we've got the takeoff. So they light turbulence, moderate difficulty in walk, and they define it, which is very nice, and strong strains against seatbelts. I've only had actually strong turbulence once, and if you've perused my channel and looked at my most viewed video, that's the strongest turbulence I've had. You know, when you get the sudden drop and you want to lift off your seat, I would call that strong turbulence. I turned comments off on that video because there was a lot of people who kept telling me, no, that was not strong turbulence. And I got tired of disagreeing with them. My criteria for strong turbulence is that if it goes on long enough and people start throwing up, I think that's strong turbulence. So that's my criteria. But basically there looks like a little bit of moderate turbulence. And I don't know what the scale is, 60, 50, 40. I don't know what that is. They didn't really define that. So between 2 and 3 hours, you could expect a few bumps, and then 6, maybe a little bit more, but then smooth as you're approaching Fiji. In maps, here's the world map. That's pretty sweet, where you can see a lot of the storm systems. I think pilots get some. I'm not a pilot. I think a lot of the weather dictates a lot of the route that you take, especially like if you're flying to Europe. They try to ride the jet stream to Europe, and if you're coming back from Europe, you go way up high to try to avoid the jet stream. Oh, David, looks like you got a pretty good storm coming into, at least wind-wise, coming into the UK over the next few hours. And here's our wind speeds. Wow, there's some big windy places across Australia. That could be fun. All right, so that's one of the maps you get to look at. Let's see. And then there's the wind speed, which is probably more interesting for the pilot than me. And some small thunderstorms on the way. So I would set my watch to 6 hours into the flight so I could look out the window and maybe take pictures of thunderstorms. That would be pretty dang sweet. And again, as you get close to landing in Fiji. So all in all, this is pretty cool. I'm planning. I actually I've got quite a little break here in between trips. Unless I book something last minute, which I might do. I might try to squeeze in my JSX experience between now and going to Atlanta to see Matt. But we shall see how that goes. And I plan on including this in the trip reports coming up. So I think this is pretty cool. Jim caught it in the email when he sent it to me. He has detected from my commentary that I enjoy the turbulence. I think it's, for the most part, it's fun. The only time I don't like it is when, again, as I said, passengers start getting sick. It's pretty funny. My single serving friend on the most turbulent flight I had, I tried to reassure her that everything was okay and it was fine. And she ended up grabbing and being scared, which, a lot of people are afraid of turbulence. The second most turbulent flight I had was really a long duration batch of turbulence flying from Narita in Japan to Singapore. I believe there was a cyclone way to the south of us, and it was causing a lot of weather in that area. That's the first and only flight that I've been at altitude, and I recommend if you dig this kind of stuff, I would go back and maybe watch the trip report. Narita to Singapore. I remastered it during COVID because I couldn't go anywhere for a while. But the wing, when you take off and sometimes when you land, you get condensation created because of the pressure drop as the air goes over the top of the wing. The pressure drops and the air can condense. That was the only flight I've ever been on when that was happening in level flight. The wing was shedding a sheet of condensation. It was not rain because we were just in the clouds. At least I didn't see any water droplets going along my window, but the wing was just shedding this like flat sheet of cloud condensation. It was super cool. I got a little bit of it on the video, and it is in the video. Again, Narita to Singapore on Singapore Airlines. It's on a 777. So I happened to be sitting in the back that day, so that's the only reason I was able to see any of that. And that was on our way to the Maldives. So that was super cool. Jim, thank you for this. This is super cool. I'm going to incorporate this, or try to incorporate this into some of my upcoming trip reports. So yeah, I think this is pretty sweet. It's pretty user friendly. It was a little slow on my phone. I tried it on my phone, which is probably going to be the source for trip report stuff. But yeah, I dig this. They also have, I should mention this, full disclosure, they also have a flight tracker. I use Flight Radar 24, so the flight tracker, is not as exciting for me. Getting the flight tracker up, I had this experience the other day. Yeah. So it's got a bunch of filters you can pick, which is kind of cool. Shows the wind and the weather, also cool. And you can obviously click on an aircraft and get the track. Lufthansa 431, Chicago to Frankfurt, a 747-8. Now that would be a sweet airplane to get on. And there's the weather coming into the UK. That looks like a pretty good storm. Looks like these guys are all trailing behind it. You can see this guy, Delta flight, going a little low. This guy's going to Frankfurt as well. I'm surprised he's that high up. I'm surprised they haven't brought him down. They showed a little red dot for Frank. Man, that's kind of cool. All right. I looked a little bit deeper. That's it's not terrible. I think a lot of this stuff you have to pay for in Flight Radar. Yeah, maybe that is cool. I don't know. All right. Let's see. Let's check the chat. Where was I? God, you guys are busy tonight. Sunsets. So does Turbulence predict fights on United as well? I don't think they've incorporated that feature quite yet. No. Jim says Badger, I think, right after nose up. Leaving Denver, it's almost always. I believe that's probably Turbulent leaving Denver, especially if you're flying over the mountains. I forgot about that. I flew into Denver as a teenager to Stapleton, and that was bumpy. I remember looking out the window. It was on a 727, blast from the past, and that 727 wing, which were much more rigid than like a 787 wing today, that wing was just bouncing. I forgot about that. Right. David says strong turbulence is I spill my G&T. Yeah, that would be strong turbulence. I would agree with that. So British from Jim. I'm gonna have to work on that. I also am a advocate of the G&T. I think I'm just about out of gin though. I gotta get some more. My sister visited. That's all I got to say about that. David says no rain predicted for 10 days. Wow. So just a windstorm. That kind of stinks. Badger talking to James. I asked because I flew from Copenhagen to Paris and it was moderate turbulence from like 750 feet until landing. Lowe says see where the wind blows, so to speak. Yep. Jim says, yes, it seems cool. I'll try the site too next trip, see how accurate. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, no, thanks for passing it along. Anytime you guys have stuff you want me to read and react to, send it on. This is the community where we all get to share things that others may not have seen. So, and my favorite comment that I've gotten in some time, I use Chemtrails Tracker 24. I don't know if you guys if you're connected to the aviation world, one of my favorite things I got, you could get a customized switch from an aircraft. And the example that was shown, it was like remounted, from a salvage aircraft. Oh, I thought I had a hummingbird. I had my first hummingbird this week, by the way. That was pretty cool. I have a hummingbird feeder that I got for Father's Day last year. I finally got it up. And I finally got a hummingbird. Anyway, you can buy like a switch in a box kind of thing, and you can customize, put whatever you want on it. And of course, I would put Chemtrail Tracker on there, or Chemtrail on off. I love that one. I had a guy in San Francisco years ago hand me a flyer about chemtrails. I wonder if I still have that flyer in somewhere. It was awesome. It was great. Let's see. Austin Cash, Delta pilot tuning in. Welcome. I will be flying Delta. I have a trip book on Delta in a month. So I actually got my highest level of status with Delta. So welcome, Austin. I am not a pilot and I have not stayed at a Holiday Inn Express. So I will bow to your expertise if I step on my toes somewhere. Let's see. Yeah. So welcome. We were just looking at Turbly. I'm guessing as a pilot, you have something I would guess similar, probably more advanced, or giving you the weather forecasts from A to B. That'd be my guess, at least. I'm not a pilot. I just wish I was one sometimes. All right. Let's see. Any more questions, thoughts about Turbly? If not, I'm going to move on to the curated articles for the week, or for Thursday. All right. Here's what every traveler needs to pack in their carry-on. I love this. I always love these articles. I often question whether they're from people who actually travel very often, or just somebody who took a flight and then realized that they forgot A, B, C, and D, and then they happen to be in the business of writing articles, and so I'm going to write me an article. Oh, geez, don't hit the mic. Because a lot, as a frequent traveler, I find a lot of the advice to be kind of silly. At least, and at least not something I would consider important in a lot of cases. So, all right. So this is from the Weather Channel of all places, and looks like a lovely young lady putting her carry-on up in the overhead. When embarking on a trip, luggage is precious real estate, and there's much to debate about what is the right way to pack. Here's some guidance on packing a foolproof carry-on. You'll find all the most important items to help you have the most comfortable flight possible. All right. First up on their list, a reusable water bottle. We all know the rules about bringing fluids on airplanes, no more than 3.4 fluid ounces, but here's the trick. Bring your empty reusable water bottle through security check-in. On the other side of security, you'll be able to fill up your water bottle using one of the water fountains. You won't have to spend an arm and a leg on purchasing a water bottle at one of the convenience stores near your gate, or filling up your water bottle post-security. Filling up your water bottle post-security check is totally okay with TSA, so don't worry about getting into trouble. I had a friend of mine who had a little bit of water left in his bottle. Yeah, and he decided he needed to discuss it with TSA. And that's a foolish thing. Anybody who can deny you boarding to your aircraft. They were going to Orlando to go to Disney and Universal and all that stuff. I don't think discussing, as he said, with TSA is a good thing. So, number 2 on their list, a change of comfortable clothes. I never do this, and I always think I should. But I have such good. I check my bag almost all the time, and last time I had an overnight delay. I just bought a new T-shirt in Dallas, so I have a "Don't Mess with Texas" T-shirt now. So I got that going for me. Think of your carry-on contents as your just-in-case items. I agree with that. This means you want an extra set of clothing in case you encounter any flight delays, etc., etc. Comfy clothes. Okay. Next up, a light jacket. It's great to have a light jacket in a place that's easy to access. This is funny. When I was younger, and my parents can attest to this, I was always hot. And it's not until I've been a little bit older that I've started getting cold. And so in the wintertime, fall, spring, I definitely take a light jacket. Not always. Lip moisturizer. This would be something my wife would take. I think I have a little bit of chapstick in my bag, but I don't think I've ever used it. A plane's recirculated air has much less humidity than air on land. I guess I live in the high desert, so it's pretty dry here anyway. So I don't know that I've really felt a big difference. After being in like Singapore for a week and then getting on the plane, and it feels a little dry after that, but or Atlanta. Atlanta's another hot, sticky place. Your toothbrush. It's truly amazing the difference brushing your teeth before landing can make after a long flight. Especially if you're taking a red eye, you'll want to freshen up a bit towards the end of your trip. All right. Toothpaste. I don't. So far, the lip moisturizer and maybe a jacket, depending on time of year. I would agree with, or I would do chewing gum. I got all paranoid about chewing gum after visiting Singapore a couple different times. So I generally don't do gum anymore because of that. If the pressure difference upon takeoff and landing bothers your ears, stick of chewing gum should do the trick. Chewing gum opens the eustachian tubes, which allows the air in your middle ear to equalize. All right. Chewing gum may also help if you experience nausea during flights, since it has been found to aid patients from suffering from nausea after surgery. All right. Hand sanitizer. This is a big one now. Many of us refuse to travel anywhere without hand sanitizer in recent years, etc., etc., etc. My son does that. A portable phone charger. Agree with that. This is something you'll want for your trip as well as the flight, and putting that in your check bag is usually not wise, I think. Look for a small, lightweight option, ideally with 2 or more charging ports that can be used for other electronics, such as a tablet, or can be used by a traveling buddy. Neck pillow. Only for international flights, for me at least. Many avid travelers won't go anywhere without their neck pillow. While longer flights will typically provide a small pillow, they don't offer much neck support and aren't usually available for shorter flights. I see. This gets to your travel philosophy. In my opinion, I like to travel light with just the stuff that I think I'm gonna actually need. Neck pillow, at least my neck pillow, when it's all stuffed in its little package, is still this big. It gets to be very large. Noise canceling headphones. It's tough to imagine a flight without noise canceling headphones these days. As long as you can connect them to your phone, I would agree with that. I have noise canceling earbuds, and occasionally, due to comfort, I bring my giant Bose along occasionally. So I bring those occasionally, but again, they're less bulky because they can fold up kind of small. So what do you guys think about this list? I did a video many years ago now about bringing your essentials. And in my opinion, what is essential is different than what you may think is essential. And so it's good to think about things that you have to have. I'm surprised I'm guessing this list was this Nicole, I'm guessing might be a younger person, because as an older person, medications become important. You don't want to travel without your medications. So, yeah. So what do you guys think? Let's go back and run through chat. Austin asks, where are you flying from? I am flying, so I've got I've got a bundle of flights. I am flying from Boise to Atlanta with a connection in Salt Lake. And then while I'm in Atlanta, I am also going to be flying up to Boston. I've got this booked. What was it, Tuesday? Was it Tuesday? I think it was Tuesday. We talked about the new Chase Sapphire Reserve Lounge in Boston. So I'm going to pop up to Boston and look at that. I'm a big proponent of the Chase Sapphire Reserve. So to and from Atlanta to Boston and back. That's actually with JetBlue, not Delta. So anyway, Lo says I should submit an article. Write what you know. Yeah, maybe. I might write something for my blog, actually, if I'm just gonna do anything like that. But we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I should. Maybe that. Who knows? David Lazarus. A change of clothes is more of spills on the plane event. Yeah. Yeah, and I like I said, I figure that for the most part, I can, as I did in Dallas, I can buy a cheesy airport t-shirt, sweatshirt, hoodie if I, depending on time of year, if I really need to. So, it used to be a sweet to suck on for ear popping. Yep. Yeah, I'm surprised gum is. I remember having sweet to suck on. Badger asks, Austin, what do you drive for work? Yeah, what do you drive? What's your aircraft of the moment? Be really cool if it was an A350, something like that. Of course, yeah. If you're still here, let us know. I'd be fascinated to hear travel stories. Let's see. In Europe, neck pillows are popular on low-cost carriers, empty pillowcase and filled with clothes. Yeah. And a while back, we had that one article about the dude who wore like 15, 20 changes of clothes. They denied him boarding. Badger to David, the neck donut pillows are awful. That's actually what I've got. It's got kind of tall sides. It's got a very shallow like back part, which I like. And there was a TikTok commercial saying that we're using our pillows the wrong way or something like that. I don't know. Archie says, I believe this would be your essentials: medicine, ID, paperback book. Yes, always have an alternate. I have a Kindle these days. I used to always bring a paperback book, but I've moved over to Kindle. I make sure that it's charged, and the charge on the Kindle lasts just crazy amount of time. So I always have something else. Your phone, especially when you're traveling, you're probably using it to use it as your boarding pass, stuff like that. In my case, I'm using it for filming, so it goes through battery pretty quick. Even at the I don't know, iPhone 13 that I've got these days, it's got a really good battery, but even it will die on a flight. So, right. All right. Again, what your essentials are is what's important to you. And I'm afraid Austin has left the building. I would have loved to hear what aircraft he flies. Oh well. Right. The Huffington Post, which I don't normally look at the Huffington Post, but when you search for travel articles, you never know what you're going to get. The best economy seat to book for a long haul flight. Yeah. So this might I went with this one because if I do start booking my epic trip that I teased, I will be in a lot of economy long haul seats. All right. Premium upgrades aren't in most people's budgets, but there are key ways to maximize comfort with your economy cabin seat choice. All right. Let us delve in. Modern day air travel is famously not the most comfortable experience. After all, who wants to sit in a cramped seat next to strangers in a pressurized metal tube for hours on end? Big budget travelers will splurge on upgraded seats in business class or other premium or another premium cabin, but unfortunately, most of us can't afford to splash out like that. Still, there are ways to maximize comfort with your economy cabin seat of choice. The longer the flight, the more important it is to be strategic about your seat assignment. Zach Griff, a senior reporter at The Points Guy, told The Huff. So what's the best economy seat to choose for a long-haul flight? Although the answer can differ from aircraft to aircraft, there are some best practices to keep in mind. Some may seem contradictory, but the key is to figure out what you value and prioritize those factors. Below, Griff and other experts share their advice, including some A-plus hacks. Here you go. Here's what The Points Guy. So this is not really Huffington Post. They're just regurgitating The Points Guy, which is good. First things first, you'll want to maximize your personal space, which can mean splurging for an extra legroom seat or strategically selecting a seat that sports a unique configuration such as the exit row or bulkhead. Even just a little extra space to stretch your legs can make a huge difference on a long-haul flight, so take that into consideration as you choose a seat. Although the exit row offers that nice extra room, avoid the row directly ahead of the exit, because typically they do not recline. And absolutely avoid the last row or the seats in front of the exit row. These seats offer little to no recline, so be aware before selecting them. And I did see Seat Guru has gotten a couple mentions. I use Seat Guru quite a bit. I found that my JetBlue flight to Boston is on an A220 and their seat map is not shown yet. So hopefully I didn't pick a bad one. Even if you can't book a seat with extra space, you can still increase your legroom with careful packing. Try to fit most of things into your check bag or the carry-on suitcase that goes in the overhead bin to avoid having a bulky backpack or other stuff at your feet. Yes, I actually, I'm gonna argue with that just a little bit. I like the extra legroom seats, and I typically will book those internationally, but I like having my backpack with me because what I do is it fits pretty nicely under my legs, and so it almost creates the leg rest. And so I like having my backpack with me. I like having my legs supported, and so I really use my backpack as kind of a leg rest. So little possible tip for you: if you like to have if you just want to stretch your legs out, great. I like to have mine supported, so I use my backpack for that. Increase your chances of sitting by an empty middle seat. I do my best to get an aisle seat next to an empty middle or a window seat next to an empty middle. Having an empty middle seat next to me lets me spread out and sleep better. Yeah, these days I think that's really, really difficult. She increases her chance by looking for 3 persons in which the window seat is already taken, then selecting 3-person rows in which the window seat is already taken, and then selecting the empty aisle seat. Yeah, perhaps. This way there is now only an empty middle seat available in between, which is less likely to be taken. Yeah, but with today's loading, I think you're looking at someone probably ending up there. Anyway, maybe. It is your best chance. If I choose an aisle seat in an empty 3-person row, chances are that 2 people who want to sit together might take the other 2 seats. I also try to choose seats closer to the back since though these tend to fill up last. Yeah. Kindness goes a long way with gate agents, said travel expert and Gaycation travel show host Ravi Roth. Boy, I'm not a viewer of that. Generally, I ask nicely if there's an empty row. If so, I take it no matter where it is. Nothing is better than lying flat on an airplane. La Carmina likes to take matters into her own hands. If I notice a few empty rows of seats on the plane, I keep a note of the locations. After the plane takes off and the fasten seatbelt sign goes off, I slip over and take the empty seats without asking the staff. I wish Jason was here. I don't know that all flight attendants are going to be in favor of that. Seems like that is the start of a I got escorted off the plane story to me. I don't think I would do that. Assess your proximity to the lavatory and galley. You'll want to consider proximity to the galley and lavatories, all things that could get in the way of your comfort and ability to sleep during the flight. You'll find these spaces marked accordingly on seat maps, and unless you don't mind being disturbed by lights, noises, and smells, you'll want to avoid these areas. As the saying goes, location, location, location. Try to choose a seat at least 4 or 5 rows away from those high traffic sections for a more peaceful journey. Yeah, it's hard because a lot of the on like Singapore Airlines, the first A350 I flew on, there was a 2-seat next to the entry door. And so in the row behind it, the window seat had no seat in front of it, but right next to it was the lavatory. So yeah, it's what's important to you. There will be a lot of noise coming from the galley, which is the aircraft kitchen, and there will be a lot of foot traffic and unpleasant sounds and smells from the bathroom. And that's enough of that. Remember, the bulkhead isn't necessarily the best. Yeah, a lot of bulkheads are not great, honestly. I'm not really a big fan of bulkhead rows typically. The first row of the cabin may seem like an enticing option, but there are a few things to keep in mind before choosing one of these bulkhead seats. Per the previous point, you may might be near a noisy galley. There are other potential drawbacks as well. The bulkhead generally offers more legroom. You may want to steer clear of these seats. Not on every airplane. Some of the bulkhead seats don't have a lot of legroom. You can't stretch out. United, a couple of their aircraft have a cutout in the bulkhead, and you can actually put your feet in there. So, on the good side, no one will recline into your personal space, but some drawbacks include misaligned TV screens, fixed armrests, and a lack of under-seat storage. Plus, these seats are generally reserved for parents flying with infants, so it could get quite loud around these seats. Yeah, the only time I've actually seen parents on a bulkhead row was way back with Silk Airways, flying to the Maldives. They had little clips, so parents with children, with babies, could clip a bassinet onto the bulkhead, and so the kids slept in there. And the back of the plane isn't necessarily the worst. You'll need to decide if you prefer to sit closer to the front or the back. Contrary to popular belief, sitting in the back of the plane actually has a few benefits. Again, the front of the plane tends to fill up faster than the back, so you could have a less crowded experience in the back. Okay. I increase my chances of having a free seat, if not a full row next to me, so the further back in the plane I'm located. Says Meg Gerard, co-founder of Solo Female Travelers. Seats at the back of the plane will see a decent amount of foot traffic from passengers seeking out the bathrooms, but if I'm asleep by that point because I have a free seat or row next to me, I'm not conscious enough to complain. I wish I could sleep that much on an airplane. The whole thing is just so exciting. I just don't sleep very well. Many airlines offer travelers the opportunity to pay a little extra for the seat closer to the front of the plane. Ask yourself if it's worth the added cost. Less turbulence the further forward. Supposedly, I've been told that many times. Here's the Seat Guru. I always recommend checking the Seat Guru website ahead of time to find the best seats for your particular aircraft. Excuse me. It gets a little difficult. Wrong pipe. It gets to be a little difficult from time to time because there's many generations of aircraft, and so they have very different seat arrangements. So some passengers seem to opt for a middle location near the wings where they are less likely to feel turbulence, while others want to be near the front or for ease of getting off the plane, less engine noise, or even get a better choice of food available. Said Sarah Lindsay, a traveler trends and destination expert at Skyscanner. There you go, David. Your favorite, Skyscanner. I think you pointed them out that you can buy. I think it was David. You can buy the reviews. She pointed to a Skyscanner survey of more than 1,000 regular air travel passengers, which found that the most sought after seat on a standard aircraft was 6A, a window option near the front. And the worst was 31E, a middle seat toward the back of the aircraft. Sitting in front of the wings and engines usually makes for a quieter ride. Yes, that's one of the reasons I like sitting further forward. Is it's a little quieter. Examine your window or aisle preference. See, this is where it gets hard for me because a lot of articles I've read recommend an aisle seat on an international long-haul flight, which I have done, and I found it to be a better experience overall. But not being able to see the landing if I'm flying to, say, Fiji, I think I would like to be able to see the island. You're probably approaching from over the ocean if you're going to Fiji, for example. So you may not actually see much until you were like right on the ground. So I always have an internal argument with myself. Should I take the window so I can look out just for the landing part and the takeoff part? Because, if you're flying to Fiji, you're going to be over the ocean for 9 hours. Or take the aisle and then forego all that. So I can't share that in my trip report. So anyway. Those who like to get up and move their bodies may gravitate toward the aisle, but flyers who hate getting bumped into or asked to move are probably window people. As I've gotten older, on a long haul flight, I guarantee I'm going to need to get up at least once. So This guy. The middle seat trade is not a trade with somebody, research the aircraft. It's a really long article and I'm kind of bored with it, so I'm going to move on. Book early. I agree with that. Shop, shop, shop. Let's check the chat. All right. Oh, I missed David. Power bank, as many airlines don't have power, especially in economy. Yeah, that's becoming a selling point in the U.S. I think all the majors are getting power. The low-cost carriers, not so much. Archie, Seat Guru can be your friend. Agreed. Lo says she used Seat Guru a lot. Badger, I really like the A220. Agreed. My Breeze flights. I'm going to give Breeze mostly a break tonight. We're on A220 300s. It's pretty cool. That the groan of the engine gears at the when it's spooling up is pretty interesting. David says, pick a quiet flight, then poor man. Pick a flight, then poor man's business class. Pick a quiet flight. I'm not sure I understand that. David says, when I was a baby, I flew in the luggage rack. Less turbulence over the wing, center of rotation. Oh, that was Skytrax. Okay. Archie says, good stuff tonight. Need to leave. See you soon. Enjoying the Canadian train adventures. Yeah, I'm not. I'm really struggling with trying to make an entertaining video for part 2. I'm going to post another airplane trip next week, but I find the airplanes a lot easier to do because I have a passion for aircraft and airplanes since I was a kid. I don't have it turns out I don't have the train passion that a lot of people have. What's that guy's name? There's a guy on YouTube I found. He posted a Canadian trip, and he was just so enthusiastic about it all, and blah blah blah. And it was great. It was the best thing ever. And so I got excited, and then I ended up taking the trip, and it was all right. So I'm having issues. I'm trying to be compelling and entertaining on the video, and I'm not feeling it yet. So I'm gonna keep working on editing that guy. All right. Don't let them keep your credit. Make them pay for taking one more seat from them. Breeze, that is. Yeah. Yeah, Breeze. They got a bunch of new routes out of LAX, I saw. David says, poor man's business class equals an empty row on economy for one person. Oh, yeah. So that's European business class is an economy seat with the center blocked. I'm told. I've not done that yet, but all right. BuzzFeed, another thing I don't read a whole lot of. 33 things that'll help you make smart packing choices for your next trip. I am not going to cover all 33. I think I'm going to cover their top 10. I've got marshmallows to roast and s'mores to make. So I think as the sun's getting low in the sky. Badger says, my elderly father loves long haul sleeper trains. Yeah, I think I would take another train trip. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I would do it with at least one other person, if not a group of people. I would not do a long haul overnight train trip solo. I don't think I would do that again. So. But yeah, there were plenty of people older than I was. One of the younger people on the train, and yeah, and I think the average age is probably 60, 65 would be my guess. So I was younger than just about everybody, other than my room attendant, who, gosh, she was probably like 25 or something. But yeah. The workers were younger, but most of the passengers had a lot more gray hair than me, or just a lot less hair than I do. So, all right. So this is 33 things that'll help you make smart packing choices for your next trip. Like I said, I'm going to cover their top 10. And as always, there will be links in the bio or in the show notes. And so you can go look at the entire list if you would like. So number 1 for them is a wheeled carry-on bag. If you have no intention of paying for a checked bag, but still need to make the most of the space you have available. It's small enough to fit under the seat in front. Fit under the seat? I doubt that. So it can even qualify as a personal item on extra strict airlines. I find that hard to believe. And I don't know how you would know that. I guess this shot here from Spirit says 16 by 14 by 8. So I guess you could go shopping for that, but that putting a wheeled suitcase under your seat in front of you, that on Spirit, that would make the flight that would not be an enjoyable experience. So I automatically I would not do that. That would be uncomfortable. Now you won't even have to pull your suitcase out of the overhead. Yeah, but I don't know how you get. You have to get out of the seat before you can pull it out. There's no room on Spirit. This is written by somebody who's never flown Spirit, in my opinion. All right, number 2, a durable travel backpack that is quite possibly the perfect personal item thanks to its waterproof design, anti-theft pocket, USB charging port, and a dedicated shoe compartment. There's room for everything. Yeah, I've got a photographer backpack that I use for my personal item. Look at that, and they stuffed it in the little Frontier bin. That's interesting. So we've got Spirit and Frontier. I bought this backpack for work. It's probably the best backpack I have ever used. All right. Oh, see, number 3. I agree with number 3. A digital luggage scale to help you pack the essentials without incurring any overweight bag fees. So last time I looked, a travel scale like that is like $10 on Amazon. You can probably go down to your local AAA travel store or something like that. I bet they have them there. I need to buy one of these for my wife. She is right up against the weight limit on the outbound leg. And so if we buy anything, I'm always nervous that we're going to get overweight fees, which can be quite expensive. So I'm a big advocate of a digital luggage scale. I like those. So I'm a big proponent. A travel wallet for a sensible and stylish way to carry all your important documents so they don't take up valuable space in your carry-on bag. Yeah. Yeah, not for me. Thanks. This looks like it's aimed at... It's very stylish. The stylish phone case, the orange. Yeah, I don't think that's aimed at me. The RFID blocking wallet has a passport pocket, so I am a proponent of the RFID blocking. I keep my passport in the RFID sleeve, so I do that. Anyway, so that's probably more for the ladies in the audience. A set of packing cubes. I've seen this quite a bit. I have not done this before. Yeah, set of packing cubes. You wonder how you ever traveled without. The ones that I really liked have they're like a plastic bag and you suck the air out of them. Of course, when you're at your destination, I don't know how you get the air out of them again if you don't have your vacuum. Most hotels I've been at don't have a vacuum. Hey, look at that. The vacuum storage bag when you're a serial overpacker. Who says you can't bring multiple outfit options on vacation? But how do you suck the air out of them when you're on the road? Anyway, so there's the vacuum cubes. You may have to iron your clothes at the far end. Kindle. I would agree with this one. I find it's very difficult to read my iPhone in the sunshine, but the Kindle does not have that issue, so I'm a proponent of that. Here is another neck pillow. Badger, this maybe, I think it was Badger. Didn't like the round ones, the donuts. So this one looks like, I don't think I would like this because it looks like it's a choker. A slim and packable turtle neck pillow that you take up, that'll take up way less space than the round ones. So I like that part. So you wrap it around your neck, cinch it up, and it keeps your head supported. My biggest problem is I don't sleep on my back typically. So that's why sleeping on an airplane is a little challenging for me usually. Travel stroller. This is not my demo anymore. My youngest is graduating, yay, with honors, which I'm pretty excited about. And a set of TSA approved silicone travel bottles. So there's some more stuff for you. And like I said, I'm not going to go through all these. Toiletry bag, magnetic cadence containers, so you put your pills in there. Collapsible water bottle. I think my sister gave me that. Collapsible coffee cup. Space-saving laundry bag. More pills. Emergency kit. Yeah. Anyway, like I said, I will put this link into the notes of the show. And yeah, you can look at the article as you desire at your convenience. All right, let's check the chat. Badger, I took him to Europe when he was 79, and it was a blast having him on all the high-speed trains. Yeah, the high-speed trains have a much higher cool factor. So yeah, I'd like to, when I make it to Japan, I'd really like to do take some of the bullet trains in Japan. David says, I have an RFID card that scrambles signals in any wallet. Nice. Plan your flight so you can skip sleeping if necessary. Yeah, I'm looking at this Fiji Airways flight. It leaves at, 23, so like 11:30 at night. Like the Singapore Airlines flight. I find it, at least in my experience, if you're flying to the east, a lot of those long haul flights are overnight red-eye flights on purpose. If you're flying the other direction to the west, at least coming back from Europe, you're ending up on a daytime flight in a lot of cases. So it's all daytime. You're following the sun as you go around the earth. Yeah, I haven't decided if I'm gonna when I do this thing. I haven't really said what I'm doing yet, but and more on that to come. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag yet. All right. Any last questions, comments, chats? Throw them in now because I'm just about out of water and I'm hot. I got my office door closed because it's noisy out there with all the kids and everybody home. So I'm going to, not seeing any. Thank you for coming along today. This is a great way to support me and support my channel. I really appreciate the community we're building. And I'm very embarrassed to be doing this, but I'm told that I'm supposed to be doing such things. If you want to increase your level of support, my channel does now offer memberships. I would love to have you as my regulars be contributing members of the channel. There's a few things that you get in chat. You get special stuff in chat depending on your level. One of the things I'm going to upgrade my membership levels to include in the future, once I am officially a travel agent, I think I'm going to include an annual travel consultation for whatever membership level I decide that's going to be at. So that, again, if you would like to provide additional support, memberships are always appreciated. I don't actually have any yet. So I really would like to have a member. That sounds really weird. If I was a bigger stream, that would get clipped and used in a bad way. All right. So I did my little bit. Again, thank you. Phil, no obligation to become a member or anything. It's personal choice. If you like what I do and want to give me a little bit more support, I would appreciate it. So that's all I got to say about that. Thanks for coming along. We will do this again on Tuesday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. So hopefully some of you can make that. And let's see, video wise, I got there's a bunch of stuff coming. Next Wednesday's video will be my second WestJet flight in what they call their premium cabin. I'll let you be the judge if that's a premium cabin or not. Unfortunately, they're doing the Delta thing and they're giving like little snack box. It was all right. It was not bad. It's a short flight, so I didn't expect a meal, but a snack box doesn't really feel very premium, I guess. Especially if it's just got a granola bar in it, granola bar and some almonds. Doesn't feel very premium. Premium, yeah. Anyway, I think American is still my favorite domestic style first class premium cabin. Nothing like that little dish of the heated mixed nuts. They gave me one of those on my flight with Air Canada, but they weren't warm. They were just like room temperature, and it's not as good. You got to heat them. You got to heat them, Air Canada. But that video is a couple weeks out, so. All right. I've yammered enough. And again, I'm going to sign off now. If you have any other questions, put them in the comments section because I don't always see new chats after I sign off. So, all right. That's enough of me yammering. I will see you all hopefully Tuesday. If not next Thursday, I hope to have Matt in with us. So, see ya. Ta-ta. Happy weekend, everyone.